Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Tom. It's good to be with you. Some of you who have been here a while might notice that I'm repeating a Facebook Live that I did last week, but we've got a bunch of new people in the group that I wanted to share this with, and I wanted to put this together into kind of a two-part Facebook Live series that I could do in one week. So I want to explore with you today what I would say are the two most dangerous words in the English language. And you might have your own guesses, and if you want to put a guess in the comment box, you're welcome to do so. Um, but I have two that I've seen in my own life and with people I've worked with that keep coming up over and over. And these are words that, aren't just words, but they create a reality. They create a belief. And that when we live these words and we let them form a belief around us, they keep us locked in fear and shame and loneliness and isolation. So, the first one that I want to explore with you today is the word should. And in my next Facebook Live on Thursday at this same time, I will explore the second one with you all here. So, I think that this word should might be the most dangerous language word in the English language. And they're particularly dangerous when these words infect our spirituality and our psychology at really, really deep levels. So, today I want to start with the word should. And I want to ask you a quick question. So, how many of you grew up with an image of a God who's sort of always keeping score, waiting for you to screw up, to judge you, and then to punish you? And that's pretty common, I think, for a lot of us who might have grown up in the Christian or other traditions. Then we try to fix that by throwing in all the stuff that Jesus said or other traditions say about forgiveness and about love. But at that point, it's kind of like putting a band aid on a lifetime that we've already built of fear and guilt and shame. So, what I want to ask you and really challenge you to ask yourself and be really honest is there just a little bit of that should that always stays in the back of your mind, even when you might otherwise feel like you have a pretty healthy spirituality as you've grown into your adult life? We pick up these cues from our family and our religious traditions and our culture, and they get embedded in our soul and our spirit and our psychology, and sometimes they can be in there at like non-conscious levels, just working in the back of the mind. Now, what happens if there is a little bit of that should, or if you're like some of us, maybe a lot of that should that is always there? Usually that's going to show up and make us feel afraid to take risks because we're afraid that we might screw up. We can internalize that and become ashamed of who we are, thinking that we're sort of somehow inherently flawed or bad or worse than everybody else, or we've screwed up more than everybody else. And ultimately, it makes us feel alone and afraid to reach out and seek that connection with God and with others that we so desperately seek, because ultimately belonging is really a big piece of what we want as humans in this life. As Augustine said, we are restless until our hearts rest in you, O God, and in intimate human relationships. So in daily life, these shoulds kind of show up as more of the stress and anxiety and the resistance to life and the creative energy that the spirit wants to express to you. So we can start to kind of clamp down and out of fear resist that spirit. And that creates all that tension that we hold in different parts of our body, or we can feel when our hearts are restricted and we're not totally being who we were meant to be in this world. Now, does any of that sound like you? And if so, I have some good news. When I work with people to begin a daily centering practice, and in my own practice as well for more than 20 years, they gradually start to learn to move beyond all the thoughts that we have about God and get beyond just what we think God is or what God should be or who we are, who we should be, and move into more of a direct, intimate relationship with the God who is the ground of our being and so much bigger and more mysterious and way more forgiving and loving than we can possibly imagine. So, one of the things that when you start to develop a deeper spiritual practice and even mature in your spiritual life as an adult is that we find you might have to let go of some old images or beliefs about God or about yourself in order to grow into more intimacy. And in fact, there's a big aha moment that I've noticed that comes when you realize that that angry, judging God that might be in the back of your mind driving that should isn't real. It doesn't exist at all. In fact, I would even go further and say that believing in that kind of God is the first step towards atheism. Because who wants to believe in a God that's just sort of waiting in the wings to kind of jump out and like get you in an aha moment and then punish us? So if we can let that go, and once you do, and this can happen in a deep practice of healing and centering on a daily basis, then you become more free to move into a deeper friendship with God. You stop resisting the life and the grace that God wants to express through you. And it's even more than that. When you let go of should and you stop resisting life and constricting, you move into the expanding flow and energy of God's abundance and love throughout the universe. The stress and the anxiety in daily life also start to melt away almost effortlessly. You don't have to focus on it so much. It's like when you get into that flow, those things just kind of fall away and you're able to be much more present. You find that you have more energy to be present in your work, with your family, with the people that you love, and even with yourself in those kind of quiet downtime moments. I was talking with someone recently on a call, and he asked me, how do you have the time and the energy to create all this stuff and do so many different projects? And I hadn't really thought about it before, but honestly, it's because when I am tapped into the energy and passion that God wants to express through me, it's just a lot easier. I don't have the resistance. I show up and I have the energy and the passion because it's aligned with what I know I want, what I want, and what God wants to express through me. So if you are, open to getting into that deeper centering practice, you start to find access to creative energies, and old problems in your business or in personal relationships start to dissolve along with that stress. You find resources and creativity for innovative solutions to old problems, solutions that maybe the Spirit has been trying to bring to life through you, and all of your unique skills and gifts that you've developed over these years all along. But you drop the resistance and all that stuff is able to come out and be expressed. And that's a really joyful way to live. And it's the beautiful simplicity of what I call centering for wisdom, of surrendering into challenging situations, into the present moment, into our bodies, and ultimately into the divine presence in every moment. So if you're ready to take an honest look at your spiritual practice and any shoulds that might be driving stress in your life and keeping you from connection with God or a higher power and with your best self, then I want to invite you to book a free breakthrough session with me right now. I've put the link up in the chat box here. And if you can't see or access that link, it's thomasjbushlack.com/apply. Again, it's thomasjbushlack.com/apply. And this is a free breakthrough call session. We'll get on the phone for about 45 minutes, come up with a concrete game plan to get you really clear on how you can align your entire life out of your spiritual practice, liberated from those shoulds that might be conscious or even unconscious in the back of your mind and embedded in there, and start showing up to your work and your career and your business and your most intimate relationships with new creative energy and grace. So, should was the first dangerous word that we're exploring this week. Tune back in on Thursday at the same time and in the same place, where I'll explore the second most dangerous word in the English language. Go ahead and click that link right now to book a call, and I'll talk to you soon. Again, that link, it's thomasjbushlack.com/apply. And in the meantime, don't should all over yourself. One of my favorite little puns and saying from the 12-step world. All right, talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody. Peace.